Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to the another episode of Product Management Interview Experience. And today we have Gaurav, who has recently joined Walmart as an associate product manager. Welcome, Gaurav.
Hi, Sugat. Thanks for inviting me. Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot for coming to the channel and sharing your interview experience. We would be eagerly knowing in this video the entire interview experience of Gaurav and how he pivoted from a software engineering background to a product management. So over to you, Gaurav. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, I think I have a small PPT. This will
Hey,
keep our discussion aligned as well. And yeah,
great.
just give me a second. Hello, everyone. I am Gaurav Dubey. I have close to more than 7 years of experience in this IT industry. I started my career as a Android developer after completing my engineering in computer science, gradually moving to global logic. Therein, I I was lucky enough to be part of some amazing projects, be it healthcare, retail, social networking, and finally I joined Adobe in 2017 as part of Acrobat Document Cloud team. There also I worked on legacy PDF reader, Adobe Acrobat Reader for Android, and there I also my MBA journey began from IIM Lucknow. I was part of the PGPWE course from 2018 to 20. And those who don't know exactly about this program is a work integrated program where we have classes on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and this is approved in coordination with our employer. So yeah, time management and those things is there. So I completed that as well in 2020. Close to 1.5 years, I have been taking up product roles within product functions actually within my company. I've also reached out to many co-founders and did some pro bono assignments with them, and finally landing up with this opportunity at Walmart.
Hey, awesome, Gaurav. Great work and kudos to you. So just to clarify a few things to the users, this is not an campus interview experience of IIM Lucknow, but this is more of an off-campus interview where Gaurav has went into a product role at Walmart. We'll be very excited to know his entire journey, how he got that interview call and what were the various rounds at Walmart. So yeah, Gaurav, would love to hear as much as detailed information you can share us to the aspiring candidates.
Yeah. I think before I start, even you would agree to it, and most of the product people will agree that easiest way to transition. I will not call rather easiest, but yeah, the best chance of you making into product management is in the same organization where you are working. In my case, I was lucky enough to get an offer outside. But yes, if you are in your organization, reach out to your product managers, senior product managers, not with the intent that they will immediately give you an opportunity to be a product manager. But I remember one conversation from this TV series Kota Factory that people are too much stressed about clearing engineering. They are not really understanding. They are not spending time to understand what the engineering exam is all about. So same with the product management. A lot of us, or even me at early start, was more focused upon grabbing an opportunity into product management rather than understanding the role, the nuances, and how drastically it varies from product to product, organization to organization, and even teams within the same organization. So one thing is talk to as many product managers as you can. I talked to Sugat, I remember in Jan, he was at PayPal, and I just cold messaged him, hi, can we discuss something about product? So this is the way. One thing you will, the more product managers you will talk about, you will talk with, you will understand more the roles, the skills required. That is one part. Second is resume, which we can discuss probably in another session. But yes, resume is an entirely different exercise. And for my own resume, I had 10, 11 versions of my resume, and it took me close to 1.5 months to finalize the current resume which I have with me. So that tells me that tells us how much reiteration is required on that front when you are converting your resume from an engineering project technology based to an impact based product management resume. So that is those are the two other things which I wanted to talk about, and then we can obviously discuss the different rounds at Walmart to be in focus about this session, and maybe we cover a few of those in between. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. And that's very well said, Gaurav, especially before fighting any exam, try to know about that exam. And that was, I was recapping the Quota Factory season one. So I
Yes.
eventually came up with that quote. So yeah, love to hear your journey, Gaurav.
Thanks. Thanks. So in Walmart also, I reached out to one of my network connection in LinkedIn, and his team. In his team, there was an opening, so he directly forwarded my resume to the HR concerned HR, and things went on. So round one was we can begin with round one. Round one was more of a, and every PM interview rounds will start with this about me section, like any other interview. But here the about me goes slightly for a longer duration, I would say, and it also presents you a chance to show the right skills you have. You can talk at length about me, right? But you have to restrict maybe like I write medium blogs, right? So I always used to pitch it somewhere towards the end of my about me section to maybe showcase my storytelling skills, or and that leaves the curiosity on the interviewer as well, right? In the end, he always used to ask, oh, what kind of stories you write, what is your inspiration, and those things. So that is one way of matching your hobbies with a skills that is required for a product manager role. So maybe storytelling and yeah, those things are required. So in other ways, there is some exciting project which you did where you work closely with a product manager. Only talk about that in your about me, maybe for a 1.5 minute, rather than telling all the works you have done till now. So that is about me. Then the interviewer asked me about my roles and responsibilities. By roles and responsibilities, again, whenever some the questions will be what all things you were doing in your project, right? So you can tell n number of things, but restricted to which are closer to the product manager role. Maybe participating in the sprint planning meeting, maybe in the grooming meetings, backlog prioritization meeting. Maybe you are presenting the demos to your key stakeholders, working someone with user experience team. So those things we can talk about. Product roadmap is I cleared three organizations, and a product roadmap was almost asked in each company at either of one of those round in detail. By product roadmap, how clearly you understand the uh, the way of organizations developing a product, right? How an organization works on a product, and where the role of product manager and other different stakeholders fit in at different stages. So that was there. Then Scrum ceremonies, epics, user stories, then yeah, churn rate and not churn rate, actually velocity, sprint velocity, and those things. Then BRDs and PRDs. So as you see these things, you even if you are not product manager, you can learn within your team, right? There is your product roadmap. Even if you are engineer or tester, there are some ceremonies, there are BRDs and product requirement documents. You can go through them, talk to your product manager, and the interviewer also understand you may or may not have worked directly on it, but he or she wants to know whether or not you have that understanding of that process or thing. Then since I was from a technical background, he regressed me on software as a service, cloud technology, basic database queries, and those things was there. And then a typical product management question from I think Cracking the PM Interviews by Lewis. That's a good big book. And yeah, pick your favorite app and suggest an improvement. I think two things I can speak about this problem. Always have 2 to 3 product in your mind. It's not that you will say your favorite app and interview will straight away jump into that app. He may ask you for a second or third. So always have backup 2, 3 apps to talk about. And don't jump into solutions. That's a mistake I did in earlier round. Focus more on a problem, focus more on user personas, talk more about if you know any numbers related to that, that is great. Even for Facebook or YouTube, if someone says it ranks second in terms of revenues from ads or something in an ad improvement that will add to your thing. So I think that was there. And then the frameworks keep on, right? At design part, maybe you are applying circle. At prioritization part, you are doing the RISE framework, reach, impact, and those things. But yeah, you cannot just talk about frameworks directly. Whenever someone throws a question to you, you just try to, in a subtle way, you try to push this framework. So that was about round one, and I think I did fine enough for the round two call. Yeah.
Hey, awesome, Gaurav. I think you have very well explained in very much detail about what were the questions, and not only how, and also how to answer them. Uh, so that will help the candidates in understanding how to actually answer this kind of product questions. Brilliant. So yeah, let's move to the round two, and we are very much eager to the kind of challenges you were thrown at the round two.
I think round two was the toughest one for me as well. I think the interviewer, after about me, he jumped straight into my pro bono work. And this is a strategy. The person double clicks to understand you. We call that terminology double clicking. So if you say, I work on a pro bono with a edtech startup, so he will double click you on there. Okay, remove the co-founder. Now you are the founder, or you are the head PM. Now tell me the vision, what the founder is not doing correct. And these questions you can only answer when you have spent a lot of time thinking about the product and talking to them. Even I work closely in this case, but for few questions, even I was not able to answer exactly when he digged it down, double clicked it 4 or 5 times. Till 2-3 times I was fine, but yeah, at a stand. So, but yes, the intent here is to understand how well you understand your customers, how well you understand your competition, and and with customers, it is obviously the target group. And then what problems areas are you solving? What is your competitive advantage in that? How you are doing it differently from other, and so on. So this was basically, and I had to present him one of the problem areas in existing my startup, which I mentioned in my resume. And then he asked me to design a solution. It was a edtech problem area related, if I remember clearly, was related to some pre-final year engineering student, Java or something program. And so I had to design a course for it. How I will, what is my strategy, and how I will, what is the, even till GTM, how I will go to market, how I will experiment and those things. So what will be my success metrics? How I will monitor the progress. If certain areas is not performing well, how I will come back and reiterate over that. So that was about this. Then he moved to this diagnosing an issue problem, and this is a very common one. This is more like a tree structured problem, right? You will find a lot of videos on YouTube solving this kind of problem. But again, remember, everyone knows the solution, but what interviewer is expecting or trying to see here is the breadth of your thinking as well. Given to a problem, how much you can go. I remember in this case, for example, YouTube, you have to go through everything. Has any bug introduced recently? Did we ship something recently? Is something going, is it an external factor or is it is an internal factor? Are the analytics logged correctly, and so on? So it has to be, and the interviewer will keep saying, oh, no, that is working fine, that is working fine. So he will test your patience level till how much you are able to come up with different point of, what we say, how much you are open to thinking out of the box, and those things are tested here. And guesstimate, I think, again, is a question asked in 4 or 5 interviews with me. And sometimes it's number of car owners in India. Sometimes it's how many people are sleeping currently on Earth, and how many mattresses are being used in Uttar Pradesh. So those sort of things. Here again, no one checks your answer. That is for sure. For suppose number of car owners in India, so in a population of 1.3 billion, you also know a rough number in your mind, right? So through different approaches, you try to present it. Okay, dividing it by urban, rural population, level of income, or car manufacturers in that segment, competition, whatever you could think of, and try to come to a number. when you present a number, even revisit it again. So if it is 4 billion, you also, or say if it is coming 6 billion, you also know it's not correct. So then also give him excuses as well. I think I did not consider the commercial part of the vehicles, the taxi, the Ola cab owners. That might be the 50% of it. So yeah. So the guesstimates problem, you practice, I think 4 or 5 questions, and you are good. You have to understand the approach, and I think you are good here.
Interesting, Gaurav. And then just to also understand, how long are this typical rounds of Walmart?
Max 1 hour, and yeah, minimum 45 minutes, 40-45 minutes usually they stretch out.
Got it. And all the rounds you cleared was in the same week. How long the entire duration took?
I think duration wise, I think the interview and all these 4 rounds were what, 15 days, I would say. 15,
Oh,
16
that's
days.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, round 3.
So round 3 was different because here I was straight away presented a product design question, design a cupboard for 7-year-old. I am not sure if in Walmart or somewhere else there was another interesting question that came twice to me, was explain the product management to a 3-year-old or 7-year-old. And I remember one of the interviewer appreciating my answer where I presented an analogy of a child and a pet. I said the pet is the product and father is the owner. And I will tell the child, you are the product manager. So you cannot go and sell the pet because you are not the owner. You are just leading without authority. You are, and your customer does not understand everything. You have to speak with them in their language. You have to feed them what they need. You cannot feed them their own food and some sort of around that. So he liked that answer. For designing a cupboard also, I think I don't remember the exact solution. Maybe it was more about the understanding the who your users are. So first focus on who your users are, what are their challenges, and then try to relate it with a solution. In one of the rounds, I was asked, pick anything near you. So I picked my water bottle and he said, improve this. So what they are trying to actually test here is your response when you are thrown to sudden situation, right? So with plastic bottle, even I started hastily in a wrong manner. I started telling them quickly about the problems only related to the bottle. But when he took a pause and said that, are you sure? Then I went back, a bottle. Then I thought about the whole bottle journey, actually, from the factory to transportation to reaching the shops, from distributor to shop, and then reaching the end customer. Then I came back with a question that which particular process or point you want me to improve and something like that. So I think he gave me packaging. So I did some size modification to fit in one extra bottle in that 1 unit of packaging and something like that. So yeah, these are the mistakes we do. But yes, that also tells you that even the interviewer is open to mistakes in this round. He will keep giving you those hints, but you have to not panic enough to not to listen them. They give you very good hints to come back. But yes, it's that's why it's important to keep your focus on his responses as well. What he's asking you again and again, what he's trying to point out. So yeah, that is one of the learning from this round. Then product strategy is asked, product development life cycle, and whenever these kind of questions are asked, it's mostly about from the role of product manager at different product development life cycle thing, right? After release, maybe engineering job is over now, but no, product manager is again looking at the success metrics, how the feature is doing. If the expectation and the real time numbers have a huge parity, then he will go back again to the drawing board, iterate, design, rework, and yeah, release. So that's what he's trying to test. And metrics and data driven, it's true. If you are coming up with a problem, you are trying to solve it, you have to give them a list of things which you will track as a part of success or failure. He may or may not ask you, but without this, even your problem will be directionless, I would say, right? What you are trying to solve ultimately. Or how you will, he may come up with follow-up question that how will you know that it is working or not. So if you keep that metric process in mind, you will be never stuck in that.
And this are some again great insights. Especially, I really liked about the question where interviewer asked you to pick anything and start improving.
Yes.
And not only from the mistakes, you mentioned there's the entire life cycle of a plastic bottle, which portion to pick it up. That was most important piece of the journey.
Yes, and it's that's what is the difference between mock interviews and live interviews. In live interviews, you there are points when you are shell shocked, but you have to just
Yeah,
be composed again and yeah, come back.
perfect.
So I think round four was all, if I remember correctly, was all behavioral. There were certain things I think related to product, one or few things, but it was either asked in previous round or were relatively easy. But here, I think one of the most important thing is to not to be a superhero. I mean, you cannot be the person who has faced the biggest challenge as well. You cannot be the person who has achieved biggest success, biggest celebration. You cannot have all the conflicts, even with manager, co-worker. You have never missed deadline. So these are the questions which actually tries to test your emotional stability, your behavioral things as well. So at many of those things, I said, I think he called me biggest challenges. I think I'm not sure if it was the challenge was big enough. Then he said, it's okay, we can skip or something like that, if I remember. So try to be yourself in this round at least, because even in I take in software developer interviews sometime, and we ask certain behavioral question that has nothing to do with his programming, right? But the intent here is to test whether he would fit in our existing setup, and what kind of mindset he is, and whether we all will grow, whether I will learn from him something or team will have some value. So yeah, but these questions are even difficult than product questions because it is about you. So you have to sit alone, think about almost 3 or 4 under each heading. When you say strength, you just cannot say adaptability, and you cannot say communication. You have to give instances where you showed them. Same about weakness, and then biggest challenge. Weakness is one common mistake I think everyone talks about, is not showing strength in form of weakness. Weakness is where which you are weak at. I remember my weakness. I told him that whenever I am given plenty of tasks, I sometimes panic. I'm not able to plan if I have too much on my plate. But I also said that it is contradictory to the role which I am applying to. For product manager, the task will not be structured. But I think I'm working on my weakness, and I now try to uh, uh, load off things from my plate. If I instantly get 10 items, I try to spend one hour in the evening and try to sort that item. So every time I ensure I have 3 or 4 items at my plate. Either they get deprioritized or they get higher priority. But so that is one way to handle those weakness challenge. Then conflict with co-worker, conflict with manager, you can call out and try to make it a positive ending story, right? If there was a conflict, you did something, you gave WhatsApp input, and you sorted it out. Even if you don't never had any conflict, be vocal about it. That no, I never had any such major conflicts with my manager or coworker. So yeah, missing any deadline, I said I have lost count of how many deadlines I have missed. But yeah, I try to ensure that the reasons change for most of the time. I try to learn from them, yeah, and implement them.
No, very true. I think the best way is to be candid as much as possible. You cannot fake anything. You just have to treat him as a more of a conversation and just sharing your part of the story and you're learning your mistakes, and that's it.
Actually, this is a very good point which you talked about. When you suddenly switch from technical interviews to product manager interviews, you will find this funny. It may be in 1 hour interview, 30 minutes interviewer is talking, and 30 minutes we are talking, or even 15. In programming, what happens? I give you one program, then I wait for you to solve for 20 minutes. Maybe 20 minutes there is absolute silence. But in PM interviews, I think hardly you will get 5 minutes without any interruption, or 5 or 10 minutes. So yeah, this is more of a conversation. Keep and use those conversation to sell your skills in a subtle way. You have to utilize them to show your strengths, show your weaknesses, and those things.
Very true, Gaurav, and it's very impressive, knowing your background in all tech and how you're coming to this entire product management industry is a great thing. And that comes to the next question of the interview is, we would love to know from you what were the challenges and how you pivoted from a software engineering to product management.
Yes, I think God has been kind, and I was lucky because odds of making into product management outside your organization are very low. That, let's be honest, and the journey is not easy. But at the same time, if I could make it, why not anyone else could do that? So one thing is, the biggest challenge is most of the recruiters are looking for prior PM experience, and that is the biggest roadblock for software engineer guys. But always remember, there is one added advantage of technology and the work you have done. So product manager is, I would, being a product manager, I won't say this statement, but yeah, product management is nothing without any engineering or any marketing team or sales team. Product managers role is to help all these teams come together and ship something great, right? Ship the right thing, shipping it to the right customer. But engineering, someone with an engineering background, or maybe it would have worked in my case as well, will understand the nuances of a developer, the challenges they face. Say tech debt, right? That is an important thing from an engineer perspective. So PM having understanding why tech debt happens, why PR has so many comments, why do we write a code that is buggy. Maybe you asked it to ship it immediately. I cannot write a whole framework and go MVP and those things. I cannot do. Maybe I ask for a better time, more time, or I do it as a tech debt and to fix it later. So I think use it that to your advantage. The places where they are asking for technical product manager or someone with extensive technical background, that will add to your advantage. Other is, was also open to similar roles, say product owner, and those roles that are not exactly product manager, but I will shift from software engineer to a mid role, to a mid position where I can jump easily into product management. So don't be rigid about organization or choices. And these days, startups are hiring a lot of folks from product background. Misho, I heard, is now designing a program similar to Facebook, where they hire associate product manager, keep switching them between projects for 2 years, and then eventually make them product managers. So that is exciting opportunity. And a lot of other groups which I am part of, I see internship opportunity, pro bono work. So use these things to cover that gap of prior product management experience, and then you already have PMs in your team. Find time with them. PMs at Adobe were very helpful to me on this thing. I used to have a talk with them at least one in a month or once in a 2 months. I used to block their calendar time for 30-45 minutes and discuss what problems in my team were, how the product team is solving that, so that even about my engineering work, I could share it in form of impact, or the kind of things I am doing is ultimately helping who? The customer. Is ultimately either resulting in increase in number of customers or the dollars, right, in revenue part. So these things we can do. So yeah, I mentioned resume making, power of LinkedIn networking. I cannot thank LinkedIn enough. I think without that, I would have not have transitioned honestly into a PM role. So that is the power of networking here. And brand building of LinkedIn. In brand building, one thing which we already discussed was being yourself, be authentic brand. Everyone copying, pasting, and doing same thing will again not give that value. So try to follow folks in product management thing, and try to give out your genuine opinion. Maybe it may be wrong or it may be right. Then they will comment you to correct you or will appreciate you. But try to learn from their post and do a. I like this strategy story, newsletter thing. As someone organizes in this LinkedIn, you will easily find. I like them. What they do, they pick up a product, they do extensive strategy, what we say, dissection on them, and then they release an. So you come to know very interesting fact, like how the food blogging industry is working, or how Coca-Cola ended up in a war with a Pepsi, which we learn in MBA exams and those things. But yeah, so leverage that. build your own brand, because whenever you will ping someone, hey, I am looking for a product role at PayPal, so that can you refer me, the first thing so that is going to do is to view your profile. And if he lands up saying, yeah, no profile description, nothing much to showcase, I think he will think that the guy probably needs to do more hard work, homework.
I agree to all these points, and yeah, I think that's I do when I received any of these messages. I look into the profile and see how much fitment is it related to the role he or she is willing to get into it. But awesome, and kudos to you, Gaurav, again. So if I
Thanks.
have to ask you, Gaurav, the time it took you, the time you thought that you wanted to enter into the product management line, and today, what is that total time span for you?
I think the trigger point was somewhere around Feb 2019.
Okay.
So, and after 2 months, so from April 2019, I can say I'm constantly in touch with product things or working for that. Yeah.
So I think the result is of 2 years of hardship that and the interest, inspiration that kept you live and do this year today here, Gaurav. And we should all
I
learn
think
from it.
yes. I think do this way. Anyone who is aspiring to be, just think of a destination. You don't know how the journey is, which path you will take. But if you have a destination in mind, you will reach there. Believe me, you will reach there. I cannot promise you a duration, 1 year, 2 year. But if you
True.
want to be at that place, you will reach there. That is for sure.
Absolutely. And before we wind up, Gaurav, how can an aspirants again? We are asking this probably the same question. Any advice to the aspirants who want to get into a product role at Walmart?
At Walmart, uh, I think it's not about Walmart or a firm. I think they need to focus more on the openings and opportunity, and keep it more. I think resume, like we talk, right? You may need to modify it multiple times depending on the job openings. For every job, you cannot push the same skills, same things, and those things. So don't restrict yourself to a particular organization but restrict yourself to a role and kind of products or industry you want to work with. So I think keep that in mind. I think the interview at Walmart, if you do all these things, and uh, I think one book which I undermined are actually two books. One is the Cracking the PM Interviews by Lewis, and the other is Decode and Conquer. So these two books have almost all the what we call have covered everything you need to crack any product interview, honestly. But merely reading those books won't do, because every one of us has read it. So reading that book over and over again and improving your answers every time. There was an excellent story I read somewhere that the examiner gave the question paper, the students appeared, and in the next examination he taught something, and he floated the same question paper again. So students said, the questions are same, sir. I think you misprinted. You got it misprinted. But the examiner responded, no, but the answers have changed now. So the questions will remain same, but your answers need to keep changing depending upon the companies you are applying, the role you are preparing.
Very true, Gaurav. And it was really awesome talking to you, and especially knowing how you transitioned from a software engineering to product management, and also understanding the entire interview process at Walmart, and also how you answered to all those questions.
I
So,
enjoyed it thoroughly. I mean, yeah, I have attended a lot of mock interviews, so I think that those mentors have been kind enough to teach me those things. But yes,
awesome.
thank you, Sugat, for having me here.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Yeah.
Bye.